In the south of central China, among the humid subtropical forest of Hunan province, lies one of the most unusual landscapes on the planet, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. This is a place where thousands of narrow stone pillars rise out of the dense forest and disappear into the clouds above. These surreal landscapes later inspired the creators of the film Avatar, where they became the famous floating mountains of Pandora. Today, Zhangjiajie is considered one of the most famous natural parks in China and attracts millions of visitors from all over the world every year. My journey here began at night in the city of Wuhan. One of the most convenient ways to reach Zhangjiajie is by train, so late in the evening I boarded a night train that was scheduled to arrive there before sunrise.
Time to say good morning, 5 AM. The train actually arrived 10 minutes earlier.
The train pulled into the western railway station of Zhangjiajie early in the morning, while it was still almost completely dark outside. From there, the national park was still several dozen kilometers away.
The task for us is to find the method of transportation from here to our next destination, so basically the national park. I have already been attacked by local taxi drivers, but well, I don't know if there is actually any bus from here directly to the national park or not.
The easiest option would have been to take a taxi. But as usual, I decided to try getting there using the regular public transportation. First, I took a city bus to the main bus station. In theory, this is where the local buses depart for one of the entrances to the park.
Someone already collected their vegetables and going for the morning market apparently to sell them. Such a giant construction which you basically carry on your shoulder like this, and this little auntie was able to put it inside the bus.
But there was one problem. All of this was happening before sunrise. Even though the bus station was open, there was almost no lighting inside.
There is no one, literally. There is even no security, funnily enough. Only one vendor is selling something. You can just pass through this gate. And that's it. Just like this, it's off.
And in those conditions, I had to somehow find the right bus. After searching for a few minutes, I eventually managed to find it.
Alright, I just scanned the QR code. And apparently here I need to select the fare, so the driver told me that that's gonna be 13 RMB. I guess I made it.
And that was the bus that finally took me to the place where my exploration of one of the most unusual natural landscapes in China was about to begin.
You made it to a small town situated right by the entrance to the national park. Just need to purchase the ticket at the ticket office and we are good to go. It says Fresh Russia Vibes, bringing Russia's past to your doorstep. What my country has to do with this place? I've just bought the ticket to this national park, which is going to be valid for 4 days. Because the territory of the national park is huge, it is nearly impossible to cover everything in just 1 day. Therefore, they have this like multi-entry ticket. The total price of the ticket was 227 local money, which is roughly $30. Sounds maybe expensive, but at the same time you get decent infrastructure inside, and soon you'll see what I mean. There are basically shuttle buses which drive you all around the national park. Here they are. It's the main means of transportation here because the territory is huge. Excuse me, they're same buses? They go that one. Okay. Yeah, so the question was like, are they all similar and go to one place or to different places? I don't know, but I guess, well, the lady said go there, so fuck it. Okay, let's go. Okay, quite a legit bus. Similar buses cruise around Chinese cities. Let's see where it takes us, because honestly I have no idea where we're going right now. Wow, the cliffs have already become visible, even though we have not approached them closely. You can see them from the road leading to, well, I don't know to where, to the first place where we are supposed to get off. The shuttle bus took us to the bottom of the elevator. You see this giant-ass elevator over there? This is the largest outdoor glass elevator in the world. It already looks just insane, like the size of all of these cliffs, mountains. It's just wow! There is a scenic viewpoint on the approaches to the elevator. From here we can already see the Avatar mountains. I was slightly concerned that if I come here in December that the trees will basically be bald, but then I realized that in this climate they will never get bald, so trees are permanently green at this point. So fantastically scenic area. This is a double-decker elevator with glass walls, so we can see what's going on outside. And apparently only 1 out of 3 elevators is working nowadays, just because it's the low season. There is indeed absolutely no need to carry food or drinks with you, because you can get them straight here. And the prices are quite affordable actually. You can get some juice for $2, for example. See, fresh juice in the cups. Some sausages, some Chinese food, some snacks. I guess here we just need to have our faces scanned, because they are already in the database. And yeah, let's see how it works.
No elevator ticket.
So it's different ticket for elevator, right?
Yeah, elevator ticket.
Ah, okay. So we need to scan one of the QR codes. In addition to the entrance fee to this national park, you need to buy a separate ticket for the elevator, which costs 65 RMB, so roughly $10.
The elevator which I was taking was built directly into a sandstone cliff. It rises 326 meters above the valley, about the height of a 100-story skyscraper. In 2015, it was recognized by Guinness World Records as the tallest outdoor elevator in the world. The ride to the top takes just about a minute, replacing what used to be a 2-hour hike up the mountain.
Okay, I've just found apparently one of the most famous viewpoints of the Avatar Mountains, from where we can see dozens of cliffs at the same time. Look at them. So these are all sandstone mountains, sandstone cliffs, which were formed as a result of erosion caused by wind, ice and water during millions of years. And currently we are lucky to be able to observe this natural wonder here in China. Look, there are so many monkeys. They appeared out of nowhere, just run away from the forest. They're following their mother or something, or maybe father. That's the entire family. They found something in the trash bin. They're trying to steal some potential food. Well, sandstone formations are not unique to China only. Perhaps in your country they also exist. At least I know they do exist in my country. But the thing is that this place became famous due to media, alright? So they filmed the movie, a decent movie, which became very popular worldwide. So people from all over the world watched it, and the location from that movie became recognizable. That's why this entire area was basically named after Avatar Mountains. At the same time, admittedly, there were so many of these cliffs, of these sandstone formations, that they eventually formed the park, so like the entire cluster of nature, which makes it even more interesting to explore. And finally, here they have great tourist infrastructure with all of these shuttle buses, reasonable paths, restaurant, cafes, so it's very convenient to explore this area. Tourist services in China developed to the extent that you don't even need to climb mountains anymore. There will be people who will carry you. You just take a seat at the stool and they'll do the rest. So can I take just one? Yes.
Okay.
Only one.
20.
20.
20.
20, okay,
Which
20.
Alipay?
WeChat, okay? Maybe
WeChat?
Alipay?
Alipay, okay.
Alipay, okay. So, yeah, you can get some, well, different kinds of food actually in this national park. See, they're making this kind of little hot dogs basically with sausage, put a little bit of salad. The egg is also inside. A portion of dumplings. Due to constant walking up and down, I'm gradually getting hungry. And I brought only one dish. This is basically the pie, supposedly beef pie. Normally this kind of pies on the streets of China are sold for maximum $1. Here they sell it for $3. But of course it's tourist area, so not surprising. Maybe they could put more meat somewhere on the street market or something. So quite an average pie, admittedly. So I made it to another viewpoint, but yeah, it's just getting boring, you know, realistically. Well, the view is nice, admittedly, but we have already seen better views today. Such an interesting means of transport is available for tourists. This is basically the monorail of the national park. You can use it to get down to the bus stop, from where you can eventually take the bus back to the exit. Sounds like a good deal to come here off the season, because first of all there are less tourists in general and you can frequently enjoy entirely empty paths. And the ones which are popular, I mean like popular viewpoints, they are not too crowded. Secondly, the advantage of winter is that there are less leaves on the trees. So some of the bushes and trees here remain green permanently, but for some of them they lose their vegetation in winter. And because of that, it's basically a chance for us to see all of these sandstone formations better. Well, despite the fact that it's winter now, it's not super hot, but it's pretty much okay temperature, like it's warm. So today, it's the end of the first week of December. The temperature is going to reach plus 18 degrees Celsius. Another advantage of this national park is that it's populated by monkeys, and you can see them in very close perspective. Just stay in front of them and observe their activity. It took me exactly 60 minutes to get from the bottom to the top, despite the fact that my map kept telling me that it's gonna take 2.5 hours. As a reward for our not the easiest hike, but still pretty okay one, is the fantastic view on the entire national park. It's a couple of hours before the sunset, so we can already see a lot of shadows, but despite this fact, still very scenic viewpoint. This is the third day in the Chinese city of Zhangjiaje, and today is going to be a different side quest. We have already visited the national park with the famous Avatar Mountains, but today we are going to visit another location which became famous in social media. The place is known as Tianmen Mountain. Right now I'm at the starting point of my trip, and this is the lower station of Tianmen Mountain cableway. Up until recently it was the longest cableway in the world, but nowadays it's no longer the longest. Well, the length of this one is more than 7 kilometers, so we can basically get from almost from the city center of Zhangjiaje all the way to the mountain. But we are not going to take this cableway today for some reasons. First of all, because it's December and this is the smoke season in China, basically visibility is very low, so the views would not be that spectacular. In this case, we are going to take the shuttle bus first to the approach to that mountain, and there we'll anyway have to switch to another shorter cableway, so we'll be able to see the mountains from the top, but we're gonna take a different cableway, not this one. So basically here are two options for you how to get there. You either take this long cableway from the very beginning of the city, or you take the shuttle bus first and then change to another cableway. And this is what I'm going to do. First of all, you can get that shuttle bus to the lower station of the shorter cableway, and this shuttle bus ride is supposedly free, so we don't even need to purchase the ticket for it. So here they have like a big bus station with buses specifically of this cableway, and apparently this is one of them which I need to take, so let's get straight there. Look at that, this is the mountain on the background, is basically our destination for today. And you can see this tiny little hole, and this is basically the landmark of this entire mountain. It totally looks surreal actually, it looks like a glitch in the textures or something. So you're looking at this massive silhouette of a mountain and you see this little gap, but this gap was formed naturally, so it's the work of Mother Nature. And today we are going to check it out from the closer perspective. It doesn't really matter if you take a shuttle bus to here or if you start from the rock bottom from the city, you still pay roughly the same price, which is Quite expensive in my opinion, but here is the breakdown of all of the expenses. Overall, the ticket to visit the mountain with the round-trip tickets for cableways and escalators, there are escalators inside the mountains, cost roughly 300 RMB, well a little bit less, maybe 285, right? So this is the equivalent of maybe $40. But the thing is that it also includes all the fees. So first of all, you get up one cableway, then switch to escalator, then you have to do the same thing on the way back. And for all of these segments, all of these sections, you have to pay. And that's why eventually you need to spend that much, despite the fact that the shuttle bus is free.
I'm starting this ride from the middle station of the Tianmen Mountain cableway. From here, the cabins begin a much steeper climb toward the cliffs above. Down below, you can see the famous mountain road with 99 sharp bends that winds its way all the way up to the mountain.
So we almost made it to the cave. You can already see it from the path leading there. And to be honest, in the reality, when you're getting closer to this cave, it looks way bigger than on a distance. We can see how little people are on these stairs compared to the size of the cave. The views of the road leading to the cave are just incredible. It's one of the most beautiful roads I've ever seen. And I'm about to start climbing the staircase leading to that cave. Basically, it consists of 890 steps, and it was very interesting to observe people through the zoom lens how they climb it. So initially, from the very beginning, they seem to be energetic. I mean, like they climb it in a very standard pace. However, if you pan closer to the top of the staircase, you can see significantly more people who are tired. If you're a lazy ass or if you just want to save a little bit of your energy, there is an alternative way to get to the mountain. So you can basically take an escalator. So they indeed built a brand new escalator inside the mountain, which takes you on top somewhere there. You don't even need to climb that stairs. But that would be the most authentic way to get there, and that's why I decided to choose climbing the stairs. This must be the sacred mountain. That's why at the very beginning of the stairs we can see the place for people to pray, right? So it's like a little temple area or something, a religious area, which is situated right next to the beginning of stairs. So far so good. We just need to keep this pace, not to try to overstep steps, you know, steadily but slowly.
Of life. Ladder left and right sides of the distribution.
The further we go, the closer we are to the top. It seems like the more steep the incline of the stairs become. Well, it's like a few minutes left before we reach the summit. Well, by the summit I mean the actual cave. Actually, people are doing good, so all of them are gradually climbing. No one is suffering much, so it's okay. I would definitely recommend climbing the stairs instead of taking an escalator. This giant piece of rock is gradually covering us. Yeah, we made it, finally. The strangest part is that you cannot actually see the cave from this standpoint. It's covered by the roof of this viewpoint. And now we're gonna switch to an interesting means of transport, the escalator, which is literally called Trans-Mountain Escalator. So it was built inside the mountain for convenience of tourists to basically get them on the top of the mountain. Okay, we made it to an escalator which actually looks totally similar to any other escalator. It feels like we are going up from the subway station. There are just several escalators, so we finished with the one, and a few steps away is the beginning of the second escalator. There were totally 5 or 6 sections of the escalator, but eventually we made it to the top of the mountain. Let's see. Oh, no. It's not the end of the story. Here, the path turns right, and there is another group of escalators in front of us. So, that was just the beginning. Well, before we start the walk, I would like to have something to eat, because I had to skip breakfast to come here not too late. Well, there is basically a Burger King, some Chinese shop which is selling some fast food stuff, some other Chinese food restaurants potentially. This one looks legit, and they have indoor seats, so maybe we can get inside this one. Okay, here they serve some reasonable food, finally. Curry chicken rice, that sounds very attractive to me personally, so I guess I'm gonna go for it. Ni hao. Can I have Curry chicken. Yeah, one there, inside. Okay. Fantastic, it took me only a couple of minutes to basically get my order. Very good service. So this is the food which we are going to have for apparently lunch. Curry chicken accompanied by rice and a little bit of vegetables. Curry chicken is one of the few dishes in China which I ordered without hesitation, because normally it's not spicy and it's just naturally delicious. Soft, yummy, juicy chicken. The curry sauce itself is very nice. And the rice, by the way, is not too sticky. So yeah, very nice meal. They have a bunch of paths on the mountain which are basically built on stilts. From these paths you can basically see the surrounding area of the mountain. So I've just made it to the point from where we can notice the stairs which we had to follow to get to the cave, and then from there all the way up to the top we were taking escalators. You can still see some people are climbing up slowly to the mountain. And the mountain itself, I mean, like the rock itself is huge, as well as other rocks around, but well, due to smoke we cannot properly see the surrounding area, and the city is barely visible from here. We made it to an interesting place for which this mountain is remarkable. This is basically the glass bridge with transparent bottom, where you can walk and see what is beneath you. Some people might be scared, but actually this glass must be strong enough to carry the weight of crowds of people. And one interesting thing which I noticed, so the fee to enter this glass bridge is not included into the ticket. The fee is just 5 RMB, but I was able to see the counter of visitors at the entrance, and I was the visitor number 700 something. So it's off the season right now, so I can totally imagine that for one day of the season approximately 1,000 visitors come only to this bridge, and there are 2 or 3 bridges like this, which means that one bridge earns you 5,000 RMB per day, brutto. Then of course you have to pay to security guards, to some other staff who work here, but quite an interesting ergonomic. I think they're doing quite some profit here, right? Because during hot season of tourism, I can imagine that the amount of visitors here basically duplicate, maybe triplicate, I don't know. What matters is that we have a stunning view of the winding road over there. Yeah, the cableway is also visible at this point. It's definitely not worth going just for this glass bridge to this mountain, but well, of course it's worth taking the cableway or drive up or down that winding road. That makes sense. And eventually the views from here are, well, potentially stunning, but you see that because of the smoke, barely see anything. For us, it's time to finish the tour around Zhangjiaje. We have visited the Avatar Mountains National Park, we have visited the Tianmen Mountain. Both places are actually touristy. Well, it's just off the season right now, so not so many people. Still, it seems that they are both worth visiting.